Could you hardly wait? Could you hardly wait to hear Janie's voice again? I had to take a day off yesterday because it was driving me nuts. Lori Green, what's to get you in the mood to do? Oh, happy birthday, Rob. They never come to a good ending with these AI songs. I've noticed it just cuts off. I'll have to remember that. Friends, we're back here again, going over the long clip that a certain person in the background sent me. I didn't know it was going to be so tedious. And it's only tedious because Janie's voice and tone is so very combative, amongst other things. Let's be frank, she's a complete bitch. Hey, Belinda Gray, good to see you. Or she seems to be. Maybe maybe it's just my perspective. She seems to have a bit of an attitude. Especially against Malaya Brooks in her parenting style. Now, we've had part 1, part 2 to this. We only seem to get about maybe 20 to 30 minutes in. Heaven's sakes. Just a second here. I did want to read you a little bit. I wanted to read you a little bit of Mike's theory. I took all of his transcripts. I've taken all of his transcripts and I put them into one document and I put it through to break down and simplify his pipeline theory. It's relevant because it has to do with the case, but a lot of it is based off of some of Janie's statements. And I can't for the life of me remember when Janie had mentioned, or maybe I do vaguely, when she had mentioned that she dropped Daniel off specifically at the pipeline and picked him up, and these bits of conversation. And I know that they're in here. And they'll be in this particular, somewhere in this 2.5 hour clip of everything that Janie has to say. And it was sent to me in the background. It's just as in an MP3 format. Hey, Deb Morndorf, good to see you. Your buddy Betty's back. He popped up on my timeline today. Good to see you, Maine. I'm just going to read you this just to stick it in your mind because it's an interesting theory nonetheless. And do you know what's really funny? It hit me the other day when I was listening to him. I like his name, Mike DeMann. I didn't take for granted that was his actual last name, right? Like I thought it was like just another way to say like the man. Mike DeMann. That's how I pronounce it. Mike DeMann. Like it's Mike the Man. But it never dawned on me because his daughter, I guess, doesn't like that pronunciation. Because it's Mike Damon. Like, you know, Johnny Damon or Matt Damon. His last name's Damon. Not DeMann. So it's just the way I heard it, I guess. I don't know. What do you call him? I call him Mike DeMann. Esther, what's up? AB listening to Ninchi play Wade again. We believe him 100%. Yeah, I'm glad she uploaded that. I was listening to that first thing this morning too. That's a really interesting, you know, there's so much in there about his suspicions. Now, you don't have to take it's not out there to take it as 100%, but man, oh man, I would think that Wade would have more of an accurate perspective of the lifestyle and the situation in that house than anybody. And I'm sure he's biased in that sense. He doesn't know 100% what goes on, but he knows enough of the issues that they're struggling with. Most of the issues center around Daniel's drug abuse, allegedly. Now, why does Wade think that, I wonder? Like, there's so many questions like I'd like to ask Wade in that situation, like how he knows these things. But the dude could probably talk for hours on it. Hey, Ann. You know what, Tammy Burke? I think it's, you know, that's a bit of sidetracking as well. Not that it's your fault in that sense, but you're still trying to figure out why this case isn't criminal, WTF. Listen, whatever they label it, especially, I'm not going to get into the strategy of it, but why does it even matter? I'd say by the looks of it, they knew from the get-go that, you know, that there's a criminal aspect and the kids likely succumb to foul play. It has it written all over it. Does it mean that they have to go around and put a label on it just to satisfy everybody else out there? It's kind of all still in the works they have to have reasons to do things in that sense. Now, the words that they put out in the media can be extremely misleading in that sense, but I don't want to put myself in a position to have to be defending the RCMP in this circumstance. I believe that there are mistakes made, probably. And I'm not very confident in how... I'm not very confident in the way that they run their organization in that circumstance at this point in time. Talking about it like it's the New York Yankees. We're not privy to any of that information. And in this circumstance, that's a big problem with me. Like, I mean, what would it mean to you if they said, oh, now it's criminal? Well, why would they jump and do that when Daniel's out here, coughing up all kinds of information in that regards? Why change that? You don't want to have him, all of a sudden dummy up and go disappearing and skip town. Maybe he goes and hides out in Newfoundland or something. They'd never find him. You don't like how Wade and... Excuse me, Lori Green. You don't like how Wade and T... Who the hell is T? Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay. You don't like how Wade and T thought it was funny talking about Malaya possibly being pimped out. I'm not sure, Lori Green, that I know what you're talking about. What were they joking about that in that conversation? I don't think that's not what I got from it. That's not what I got from it. They weren't joking about it, but maybe you heard something a little differently. That's a good one, Mr. Heavy. Now, I think ducks are fowl. I don't know if chickens are fowl. Are they? Like waterfowl? Maybe fowl does mean birds. I don't know. You're so much smarter than me. Oh, yeah, thank you, by the way, too, to that same person who dumped me all of those documents. I can't... There is so many documents in that. I guess I didn't really understand. I'm still searching through them all. I bet you... How many are there? They sent me... This nice individual sent me all of the paperwork that was released, I would expect. Maybe not at all, but each one has like 40 or 50, up to 70 different... pages in each PDF file. And it has everything to do with the warrants, with the redactions and everything. Everybody's talking about it. And by the way, Justin, why don't you fuck yourself, pal? I sent him an email last week. Last week, dude. I'm like, hey, man, why don't you send me over that packet of information that you're up there talking about? What, do you mind sharing some of those documents with me? Fucking guy never even returned an email. Not that I was expecting it, but goes to show you. Such an ingrate. Mr. fucking important over there. He's probably doing his hair. He was probably putting eyeliner on. He was probably touching up his makeup. That son of a bitch. And I know Dolly is going down. There's another situation with a nonverbal autistic child in North Carolina, South Carolina. Which one is it? Tell me. One of the Carolinas. He went missing late last night, in the night. JLR's, I saw it over on Jonathan Lee Rich's channel. There's not a whole lot of information out yet. Except Dolly, he's on his way down there. So, things should get interesting in that sense when it comes to content. Sorry, it has to happen that way. But Dolly, it's funny to watch Dolly up there. God bless him. I like it. I like it. I like watching somebody who really likes what it is that they're doing when it comes to this. It's not like he's pretending. It's just weird to watch it. Watch him planning, going on these little situations, these little outings. Good for him, though. You've got to spend a little money to make money in that sense, especially when it pays itself off in a circumstance like this, because you can bring some good to it. You don't have to do things from behind a screen all the time. Where's that Bet Smith? I see you. Exactly, Bet Smith. Says AB, it has to be foul play no matter who is involved. Exactly. People want to trip over these meaningless words, and they have meaning legally, socially, and everything in the English language, no doubt about it. I'm not saying they're shitty words in that sense. But people are sidetracked and caught up as to, why exactly things aren't a certain way, so that they can rest and have maybe validate their suspicions towards Daniel or Malaya. Friends, this is a no-brainer. You can keep everything in limbo, in a state of limbo. Keep everything in a state of limbo, especially when you're immersed in nothing but deceit and lies. It makes finding out the truth even more difficult, if not impossible, except the fact that there's human beings involved. And I kind of joke a little bit about this. Here we are again going through Janie's statements, but these are important statements. These tell you, in not so many words, exactly the types of conditions that the kids had to live in and their probable fate. And they speak to us through their language. Even though that we know that they're, or recognize that they're inconsistent, they're lies. Doesn't matter. It's still the information that they wanted to communicate to us. Kaylee did. RCMP is focusing on digital info. Well, how do you know that? Do you work for them? You can consider all of this digital info. Excuse me. You can consider all of the crap that they come online with digital info. Are you just being disagreeable out there, Rob? What's going on? Layla, wherever you are, you can come back into my chat. Didn't mean to chase you away, even though I just thought it's a lot easier to make videos about you if I talk directly about some of the comments under my videos. I think I scared her off, like I was upset with her or something. No, I was trying to engage with my audience more to have the opposite effect in this circumstance. Anyway, I haven't seen her. Maybe she had a come to Jesus moment. It's okay. She doesn't have to be here. I'm not going to force you, Layla. You worked for the government. The number one rule as an employee is not to make the department look bad. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I appreciate you saying that to her, Mr. Hemi. I'm just loading this up in the background. So actually, let me read this to you, because before we get into Janie, I want to make mention, because this is it's a theory that has developed through Mike analyzing, using plaids, which are priorities, leakage, avoidance, intentions, deception, and sensitivities, which is a framework within statement analysis. But it's brief, but I want to put it out there because it's profound in the sense that it's a good possibility, but it comes around. It doesn't matter if you or I disagree a little bit on the disposal site, in the sense. He's got me thinking about what exactly is so important about this pipeline to this story. Is it a diversionary tactic? Why did they spend so much time down there? How does Mike know how much time they spent down there? And this is where I hope we get to today in this Janie statement, because somewhere in her statements coming up should be not the answers, I guess, but should be her statements where he based it off of. Lori Lynn, you keep hoping that they're waiting on results? Oh, yeah, no brainer, Rob. Yeah, for sure. Statements that came out first, statements on chats, the statements from authorities. None are true, says Teresa. Well, you know what you get from the RCMP. You get the regular HR department, the public relations response. The problem is with all of that, in Canada, public relations response are cookie cutter, and really, you never find out about things till long after the fact. That really drives me absolutely bananas when it comes to no-brainer situations, like when it comes to missing children. You know, do your fucking thing anywhere else except when it comes to the protection of our own children. Especially when they get gone in these circumstances. Like, don't blanket them all the same, but I'm not talking treat them like Malaya was asking for on the news. It's quite the opposite. Listen, you don't have to question these son of a bitches for more than 20 minutes to know that they did something. You're telling me that you assholes were behaving the exact same way, and thank God for Belinda Gray, who's in my chat, by the way. Thank you very much for joining, Belinda. If not for Belinda's observations those days about what was going on near the trailer, we wouldn't be so damn sure. Belinda right away knew something was wrong. Esther, well, I'm easing you into it. I'm easing us into it. I know it's very difficult. You'll have lots of moral support. Man. What do you think? Why do you guys think that she's so wound up? It would be so interesting to know how we only know her one way, right? We only know her from like post-incident. It would be nice to know how she was before all of this went down. You know, the inside came out, so to speak. There's no hiding her emotions in any of this. She doesn't have some sort of weird Barnum and Bailey-like condition. No, she's just an angry individual at this point in time, to say the least. But she has a lot to say about Malaya's parenting. And it's easy to believe her. And, it's not about believing or seeking what's true. It's how she's talking about her in the context of Jack and Lily missing. Like she's bringing justifications for whatever happened to Jack, whom she describes as just such a curious young boy. Just like the way that she describes him, you can tell that she's omitting the last parts of her statement. She describes poor Jack like he was a curious young boy, as though it was, to his detriment, like to his own peril. And she just omits the last part out. And that's not even my imagination working overdrive. Like, you're waiting for that but. You know how when you're listening to somebody give you bad news? Yeah. You're just waiting. But she just doesn't quite get there. She's good. She's that good. She's good enough. And let's not forget, her sitting up there in this Facebook live chat by herself, talking to her microphone or her phone and answering questions in the live chat isn't exactly opening up. She wasn't interested in any of that sort of thing. She wanted to come out here, communicate her point of view about everything. And that should tell you, it tells you her priorities. And that's something that each step of the way they can't get around. That doesn't look very good. So let me read this to you quickly. So this is probably 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 or 11 hours of Mike Damon for his daughter. His recent uploads or his recent live streams talking about his particular theory. Okay, so I'll read you the summarized version of it. The transcript from Mike Damon's live stream, or Damon, his discussion focuses heavily on the case of missing children Jack and Lily, with a particular emphasis on the pipeline dudes and the potential involvement in the events surrounding the disappearance. So we're going to talk a bit about the analysis of key points related to Mike's theories about the pipeline as derived from his transcripts. It was a big document I uploaded, with a focus on his speculations, linguistic cues, and the context he provides. So Mike repeatedly references the pipeline as a critical location in the disappearance of Jack and Lily, suggesting it is a place where significant events occurred, particularly involving Daniel Martel and 2 associates, referred to as the pipeline dudes, whose names are Chance Mitchell and Adam. His theory centers on the idea that Daniel, possibly with the help of these individuals, used the pipeline area to dispose of evidence related to the children's disappearance. The pipeline is described as a physical location accessible by ATV, potentially linked to the power lines leading towards the Fundy Basin or New Glasgow, and is tied to suspicious behavior by Daniel and others, and Janie. Some of the key points of the pipeline theory. Would be the following. Excuse me, I had to take a little bit of a sip there. Daniel's presence at the pipeline. Mike asserts that Daniel Martel was at the pipeline area for an extended period, specifically on the night or morning following the children's disappearance. He suggests Daniel returned to the pipeline in a state of agitation, likely to retrieve or destroy evidence. He also notes that Daniel's mother, Janie, inadvertently revealed Daniel's prolonged presence at the pipeline, which Mike interprets as an attempt to cover up or avoid discussing specific details. Daniel's use of vague terms like everywhere when describing his searches flagged as a linguistic avoidance tactic, suggesting he was not forthcoming about his actions at the pipeline. His role of the pipeline dudes, who are Chance Mitchell and Adam. Mike identifies 2 individuals, Chance Mitchell and Adam, as Daniel's associates, who were with him at the pipeline for hours. He believes they played a significant role in helping Daniel, possibly in removing evidence that could have led to his immediate arrest. He speculates that these individuals share a bond with Daniel, possibly through common hobbies like fishing or other subcultural activities, like shake and bake, which could explain their willingness to assist him. Chance Mitchell is highlighted due to a prior legal issue involving a rug possession charge, which Mike uses to suggest a pattern of risky behavior. Mike questions how these individuals were contacted and whether phone records could reveal communication with Daniel on the night in question. He finds it suspicious that they have not been thoroughly questioned by the police. Talking about some of the evidence on the pipeline, Mike suggests that critical evidence such as a blanket, a boot print, possibly a pink sock, was found in the pipeline area, potentially dropped during an ATV mishap. He theorizes that Daniel may have tipped over an ATV while attempting to transport or dispose of evidence, leading to the loss of items like the blanket. He emphasizes Daniel's gratitude towards a police officer who allowed him to return to the pipeline, interpreting this as an indication that Daniel was desperate to retrieve something incriminating before it was discovered. Demand believes this evidence could have led to Daniel's immediate arrest if found. Oh, Brian, welcome. Joyce, that's very generous. Thank you very much for gifting those 10 memberships. He emphasizes Daniel's gratitude towards a police officer. That's an interesting point. Geographical speculation. The pipeline is described as part of a network of power lines that could provide ATV access towards the Fundy Basin or New Glasgow. Mike speculates that Daniel may have attempted to travel along these power lines to dispose of the children's bodies, possibly leading north toward a more isolated ocean area. He assigns a higher probability, an 8 on the scale of 0 to 10, to the theory that Daniel went north towards New Glasgow as opposed to a lower probability, a 2 or 3 for the Fundy Basin. This is based on the information from a source suggesting the New Glasgow area was closer to Daniel's home and more likely. So, speaking about some of the linguistic and behavioral cues, Mike Demand applies statement analysis to interpret the language used by Daniel, Janie, and others. He highlights Daniel's focus on evidence, for example, concerns about the DNA during a polygraph test, rather than the children's whereabouts as a red flag. This suggests Daniel's priority was avoiding incrimination rather than finding Jack and Lily. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell to the yeah. That's staring. Their priorities are staring you dead in the face. Like you can't even confuse it. Never say never. Janie's reference to water, example, denying the property's proximity to the ocean. Yeah, that's a volunteer. That wasn't prompted. Are interpreted as leakage, indicating she may know the children's fate involves a body of water. Mike Demand connects this to Daniel's familiarity with the ocean and frequent mentions of diving. The collective behavior of Daniel, Janie, and the pipeline dudes is seen as coordinated, with Malaya initially acting as a front person to distract police while others focused on removing evidence. Strong possibility. So Mike expresses some skepticism about the RCMP's handling of this case, suggesting they may know what happened but lack sufficient evidence to act. He finds it suspicious that certain individuals, like the pipeline dudes, have not been thoroughly investigated. He also notes that some channels or individuals, like DT, received documents before family members, hinting at possible leaks or favoritism within the RCMP. Not sure if that's true, but that's probably true internally. Not with people who are outsiders, though. So Demand's use of statement analysis to identify avoidance, like Daniel's use of everywhere, and leakage, like Janie's water references, aligns with established techniques for detecting deception. His focus on Daniel's preoccupation with evidence over the children's safety is a compelling observation. The pipeline's accessibility by ATV and its connection to power lines leading to a remote area like New Glasgow or the Fundy Basin provide a feasible route for disposing of evidence. The mention of specific items like a blanket or boot print add concrete details to the theory. Demand's emphasis on the bond between Daniel and the pipeline dudes, potentially through shared hobbies or subcultural ties, offer a plausible explanation for their involvement. His suspicion of coordinated efforts among Daniel, Janie, and others to manage the narrative is supported by their inconsistent statements. Demand's pipeline theory hinges on the idea that Daniel, with help from Chance and Adam, used the pipeline area to dispose of evidence related to Jack and Lily's disappearance, possibly involving the ATV mishap and a journey towards a body of water, While his analysis of linguistic cues and behavioral patterns provide a compelling narrative, it relies heavily on speculation and unverified sources. Oh, come on. Come on. It's right on the money. What are you talking about? To strengthen the theory, the following steps could be pursued. Verifying forensic evidence, investigate phone records, examine pipeline areas, interview associates. Oh, well, thank you. You hear that, RCMP? So that's the pipeline theory in a nutshell. So in this particular Janie statement, where did I see that? He notes that Daniel's mother, Janie, inadvertently revealed that Daniel's prolonged presence at the pipeline. I want to find that reveal, which Demand interprets as an attempt to cover up or avoid discussing specific details. That's what we're looking at. What are you saying, Drippy? What? Okay. You're an unsatisfied customer? Heaven's sakes. Hey, Charmaine, good to see you. Let me see. You're having a sidebar, Drippy? Okay. Let me see. We're gonna rank this up. We're gonna crank this up as soon as I get my shit together here. Do you guys think Darren and Janie are an item? I think so even more now than I did back then when people were saying it. Now I know why you guys are mentioning that. Maybe they are an item. I'm sidetracking, I realize. ADD or ADHD. Especially now that they got all that room there at the trailer. You know how Darren's homeless in that circumstance. Oh, yeah. I bet you Darren moves in there. She needs a man around the house. Who's the next one to go? Who's the next one to get killed? Daniel? Okay. I would be out of there. I can't believe none of them wanted to stay overnight. Such a surprise. That's so morbid, I know. Are you kidding me? I wonder what happened. After they initially got there, Malaya's crew, Wade and Cindy must have went somewhere, had a bit of a confab, realized things really don't seem right, turned around, went and ripped Malaya the hell out of there, and had to dry her off, probably in the bathroom. They probably locked her in the bathroom for like 72 hours. She was put on bread and water ration. Durwood listened to her, says Drippy. I think that alone gets him done. Durwood must be really desperate. Could you even imagine being there with her thanking you for being so somebody that she could talk to? She would yell it at you. Let me tell you, thank you very much for allowing me to open up to you. Holy shit. No problem, honey. She's like Yosemite Sam's wife. Could you imagine? There's no possible way you could ever imagine Janie saying any like term of endearment in a way that would make your heart warm. She's like the Grinch. Like I've never seen anybody exactly like the Grinch. You know, the old one from the 80s, the old cartoon. You know how his heart shrunk a couple sizes that day? He's got a toothache. Or he's got an attitude like a crocodile with a toothache. That old cartoon, yeah. Heaven's sakes. Oh, Darren, thank you. I've been here for 23 years, 26 years. It's going to be a great Christmas. Daniel, I want you to go out and work on the fence for me again tonight. You thought things were shitty around there with Malaya. Wait till your mom moves back in the trailer with you, buddy. She probably smothers Daniel. She's like obsessive over him. Oh. Have I ever told you how much I love you today, Daniel? You're such a fantastic son. She reminds you of the Phillies fan from a few days ago. Yeah, it's funny, Rob. That Karen, the Phillies Karen in the outfield. Yeah. That was one of the more entertaining things I've seen in a long time, but you know, they got a lot out of that. That was fairly entertaining. That's the kind of sidetracks I like. Oh, I found my earbuds, Miss K. It was in my pillowcase. Put it in there so I don't lose it. When I'm sleeping, then I don't remember. Did they have court today for Baby Meadow? Just made April. I'm not sure about that. How do you know the court dates? I don't know. I wouldn't know. It's not like they announce them. Court on a Monday? Not sure about that. I think Mondays are golf days. Hey, Crime Science. Yeah, court was supposed to be today, Seawood. Well, I don't think you guys have to worry because they're not getting Meadow back. You know, there's no way that they're talking. They've already broken the arrangement with Cindy. Not to mention, I'm not sure if you know or not, but I don't think Malaya's very interested in being a mother in the first place. I think she's done with that. I just watched this interrogation with this mother who had 5 abortions, and this last one she threw in the bay. She threw in the in this particular body of water, which was just outside Tampa Bay. So it had some similarities, but it was kind of shocking the way that she just so detached to what human life was, and then it dawned on me how normalized that may be, or what, how normalized abortion was in that sense, or how disassociated she was with her own body. Hard to say, but it was a bit odd. Janie's the best actress out of them all, Laurie Green. What you see is what you get kind of woman. Is that what you think it is? Another Betty Davis. She plays her role brilliantly. I don't know. I think it's rather telling, but, don't you think it's a little overacting? Hold on now. Just 1 second, friends. Yeah, you think Janie's an actor, or is doing a little bit of acting? I think, I think we're all acting every day, I think she's really turning it up a notch. I couldn't imagine even offering up and volunteering all of that information that's so blatantly contradictory and inconsistent. It's not even like an interpretation. Joyous N, thank you very much, by the way. Do I have any thoughts as to why they didn't bring cadaver dogs in? Well, only they would know for sure, but it would be my understanding that there were none. They don't have a big enough population to warrant having any cadaver dogs. That usually means that you've got to outsource that stuff and pay somebody to come in. You would have think that they would have a book full of a Rolodex full of numbers. My easy answer to you is no, I don't. Texas EquiSearch would have done a way better job in this circumstance than the RCMP. Bring up Tim and bring up their crew to come in as a parallel investigation type of thing, even if it doesn't amount to anything. I'm not sure if they have that in the budget, though. It's ridiculous. I love my country and I love the people, but the political environment is so frustrating. And they just love to run it right into the ground, don't they? So disgusting. Once you know, you know. Malaya gives a bad name to motherhood, says Donna. She seems so gentle and tender. Let me finish that off, Joyous. There just wasn't any cadaver dogs around. They chose not to bring them in, is my easy answer to you. It's not like they have their own. So I hear. But usually they're around. It's not like Nova Scotia is that remote. And it wouldn't be the first time that people fly in their cadaver dogs. Some people go across country, all over the place. They throw those damn things from helicopters sometimes. There's no excuse for not bringing in cadaver dogs. They throw them out of the side of the helicopters. Tell them to call in the Marines, for crying out loud. I bet you they'll have a couple hanging around. Not that they'd really need them. Well, I guess you would need some searching through. Would you need one? In the Marines? Would that be something that they would do? I think cadaver dogs would probably just be a specialized thing. I would expect. I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to be talking to you about that. Except for the fact that I know what it is and what they do. Charmaine, it's funny that you say that because it's just a silly thing to say. Like as though the RCMP wouldn't be outsourcing that in circumstances. Like there's not enough private contractors out there, either in the US or Canada, to bring in when you needed a cadaver dog. In my mind, any time that you're out searching, there should be a cadaver dog there as well. Why wouldn't there be? You're just going to bring out your tracking dog? Come on. What in the hell? Like, I mean, in a circumstance every time, you think that dog would be better than any sort of polygraph examination. You know? It's like they're unprepared. Like this should be a carbon copy scenario every single time, whether it works out or not. Now, you know what? Sometimes I think I just get cynical. I think I'm being maybe overly cynical. Or maybe I'm just looking to hope a little bit too much. Like that hopium is a bit of a coping mechanism. They're still walking around with no fucking cuffs on them, and I'm still worried. That's bullshit. How is it that people with such a shitty story in a circumstance like this can just walk away and seemingly nothing happened to them when it's so obvious to see? Well, the problem comes down to that so obvious thing I would have to expect. What are you talking about, Drippy? Oh, fuck. Don't even get sidetracked with that stupid shit. That's nonsense. There's not been any recent sightings. There might have been a report of a recent sighting, but those idiots have people calling up, reporting every cockamamie fucking thing. And that's what probably takes up all of their time. Yeah. All right, we're going to get this show on the road here. Let's pick it up way back.
Who would know when they were outside? And number 3, when I saw Malaya outside my RV, why wasn't she crying or why wasn't she hysterical if her kids went missing 20 minutes ago?
Hysterical. Hysterical. It's like she's watching the Three Stooges.
And here's another thing for you to think about. I lived here for 26 years.
Oh, wow.
I've raised my 2 boys here. I've been in this community for 60 years.
Big fucking deal. Like you want some sort of pat on the back because you made it 60 years? You still haven't done shit. You live in an RV in your goddamn driveway. The fuck?
I was born and raised here. My homestead is where my brother lives. So, I know the traffic on this road. After 26 years, I know the traffic on this road. Now, nobody is going to go by here and say, oh, there's 2 kids in the yard. Let's stop and pick them up. For number 1, that's where those 3 questions come into. And here's another thing for you to think about. I lived here for 26 years.
Holy
I've
shit.
raised... And as far as Malaya being isolated, that's a bunch of bullcrap. Because she used to drive Daniel to work when he was working full time. And there's something else I'm going to straighten you out about too in a minute.
What the fuck? One, Janie, you're not straightening anybody out. You're not even making sense. She's pretending to answer questions. Seems her priority in the things that she's saying is the defense of Daniel, and that negates anything else. Come on. All these statements indicate the sensitivity. That's why she's by herself answering questions through the chat as opposed to in person with another person. Janie. It's not even technically an interview. It's just you rambling.
When she wanted the car, she would drive Daniel to work.
That's not the type of isolation that we're speaking, although it's probably a part of it.
She would go do what she had.
And she only got that car. She only got that car like a month before this happened, in April. You feel straightened out yet?
Had to do. She would even bring Daniel his lunch. She would come home. Then she would go back in the evening and pick Daniel up. So,
holy shit. She seems to know a lot what's going on with the relationship.
she was free to go whenever she wanted to go. And another thing, the reason why Daniel is only working 1 day a week is because of this here tariff tax. The mill is having problems getting getting logs. That's the only reason why the mill is down 1 day a week. And that started in, I think, February. They started going down day a week. But just in the last 3 weeks, they've been full time. They've been 3 weeks steady. 5 days a week. So, if anybody thinks that Malaya was isolated, she had every chance in the world to go wherever she wanted. That's all she had to do was ask Daniel for the car, and Daniel gave her the car. And there in April, she bought a car on her own. So if she wanted to leave, she could have left in April. She could have left any time she wanted. She knew me. She knew if she wanted to leave and Daniel put up a fuss, she knew that I would step in and make her go.
And make her go?
Let her go. I would not stop her from leaving. Even though Daniel's my son, if that's the time, I would step in. So, people can't say that she didn't want to live here because she was isolated, that she couldn't go anywhere. That's a bunch of bull crap.
So it sounds like she's got a hard time listening to other people's truths. You know, like even if she doesn't agree, how could you not agree with things that you can't argue? Like how other people feel about things that are subjective. Why would it matter? It's just something to completely disregard to Janie. And, you know, inadvertently we see kind of the emotional abuse that she was putting on Malaya in that circumstance, in the home, admittedly. Now, what are the things that she doesn't admit to, I wonder? She denies everything. It's just the way, right? It's just completely the opposite to what it looks like.
And she had the use of my vehicle, too, whenever she wanted it. So, if people think that she didn't want to live here because she was isolated, if that's what she's telling everybody, well, or if that's what you're hearing, that's a bunch of bull crap. And if she did want to leave, and I wasn't around to stop Daniel from letting her leave, there's always 911. There's always a way out. No, I'm fine. I'm just thankful that somebody is listening to me and not bashing me for what I'm saying. As I said, the accusation and the rumors have to stop. It's not good.
Oh.
For me, for my dog, for my grandchildren especially.
For your dog. Think about the priorities right there. That's the exact opposite of 1, 2, 3. That's 3, 2, 1. So you put your dog ahead of the children. You put your dog ahead of the children. This isn't just a one-off. This is a consistent pattern. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's poppycock. That's BS, she'll say. Priorities are meaningless, especially when it comes to statement analysis, she'll say. I think she's so pissed off because she has to deal with all of this because something of Malaya did, in your opinion, Seawood. And that's the angst that you're hearing? That's probably it. Well, that's a really good understatement. It's an understatement. You're right. You're right, because it just fits in along the line of that trend, that pattern of her blaming everything on Malaya. It probably happens. Think about how they got together. Think about how they came to be. All of a sudden, Daniel's old life is shattered. His old lady finds out that he was banging Malaya, all messed up on drugs. And now he's leaving her, getting with this new honey, counseling her because they've made a real emotional bond because they're both suffering from the same mental health issues. So they were at their Grandma Patty's. I don't know. The only thing I know is that they're at their Grandma Patty's. I don't think that Daniel had anything to do with the diapers. So at somewhere along the line, her and Cody broke up. That must have been earlier than that, obviously. Daniel came in the picture, moved in with her at Grandma Patty's. That's fucking weird. That's awkward. Just moving in the new man? Moving in the new man because he had no place to go because his old lady kicked him out. And he's high during this entire time. Then they go out and move into the trailer because she's knocked up. She's heavily pregnant. I wonder why. Maybe Janie saw dollar signs in her eyes. Oh, you guys stay in this trailer here. We'll figure out some sort of way that you can pay me back each month on the 1st. Maybe she saw an opportunity to rent, draw some rent from her properties in this circumstance. Like, let it out. But Smith, you agree that she's so pissed at Malaya. In your opinion, Malaya is a pain in the butt with her stealing and lying, bad feelings towards her. Yeah, well, maybe she's got a reason to be... Well, they probably had to get out of Patty's because of the money they stole. Wouldn't you think? They stole her and her new man, Daniel, the tweaker, stole that money from Patty, I would expect. Around that time that just gotten to know Daniel. And all of a sudden, oh yeah, sure, we'll help you out. Oh, what? What do you mean I can't use my credit card? It's maxed out. She got fucked over for that $8,000 and another $1,600 on her credit card she said she wasn't going to pay back. And that is probably happened around the same time that Daniel got in trouble for, according to Wade, claiming that Daniel was committing fraud, defrauding the Canada Revenue Agency for his, baby bonus, a baby bonus every month by claiming the 2 children that he had and filing for those benefits. My question is how did a duplicate... I don't want to get too sidetracked with that, but how did that get through? Obviously, it didn't last too long. But Wade, I'm not sure exactly. We're not sure exactly what that is. If that was true, but he says to the tune of about $34,000. Maybe they're just... Well, that's not even that much debt to go and, $34,000 is not that much money. It is if you don't have any money. But, I don't know. He says it is if you're defrauding, obviously. But, I mean, it sounds like a car loan. So I don't know exactly what's true and what's not. I do believe Wade, but I wish now that some time has passed that Tint go on up there and look at that horse trailer again. You need to get back down there and do a follow-up horse trailer interview, bro. Maybe bring the horse an apple. Bring them back a gift. Maybe go bribe Wade with some oats for that old horse of his. Get him talking.
For Lily and Jack, these accusations have I got to stop. I don't know what's going on with my grandchildren. I don't know how they're feeling. I can't talk to them.
How are you guys feeling?
I wished on the 25th of June, I wished my granddaughter a happy birthday through Messenger. I couldn't even see her. I couldn't even go to her party or anything. The rumors and the accusations have got to stop.
So the rumors and accusations out there, based off of her behavior and the things that she says, have somehow affected her ability to go to her granddaughter's birthday. Are you taking off, Belinda? If you are, thanks for being here, darling, or welcome in. I can't remember if that's a hi or a bye. Welcome her. See you later. So somehow she wants to correlate all of the nasty rumors with the fact that she can't see her grandkids. Not her incredibly questionable behavior and the questions that those in charge of or those trying to protect the children that she would otherwise be able to see if she was well behaved and not so goddamn cranky, not so nasty. What's up, sweet tea?
That's all anybody can do is hopefully that where Jack and Lily are is they're found soon, safe and sound.
Oh, thank you,
Either
sweet
way,
tea.
I'm not going to say it because I don't believe.
That's very generous of you, sweet tea. Thank you very much for that super chat. You are amazing.
Believe they are.
Super sticker.
In my heart. Just keep praying for Jack and Lily. And I've been doing it every night. I'm hoping to God that he'll answer me. I'm hoping that the people that know where Jack and Lily are will please, I'm begging you, please drop them off here. They will be safe. We will get them to the authorities. That's all I want. That's all anybody wants.
So this is her really trying to sell the fact that somebody else has the kids as opposed to the alternative to that. That's interesting. Well, why don't you just come out and say it, girl? What is it? What is it you guys are afraid of? Tying yourself into too much of a statement? Having to converse with investigators in the way that you don't exactly want? See, a person in a desperate situation would want to utilize the tools that are accessible to them, like the RCMP in this circumstance. You guys just wanted to thank them the first day for coming out and making the effort. And why would you be so thankful to a scenario that didn't have a fruitful ending? You don't thank the exchange because you got liquidated. Oh, thank you for taking all my fucking money on me. You don't thank the government for taking your taxes. Oh, can I pay a little more? Here.
If there is enough people praying and enough people out there looking for them, hopefully we can find them. Hopefully we can bring them home to stop this. Lily and Jack must be out of their minds, not knowing what's going on or what's happening to them. They don't deserve that. They don't.
So Lily and Jack don't deserve. See, it's interesting. She's talking, but she doesn't really tell you what it is that she's thinking. What makes you... That's so bizarre to say. That kind of gives everybody it infers to people that you have some sort of knowledge or you have something in your head about their fate, as opposed to not knowing because of certain conditions or circumstances leading up to the scenario, or those 20 minutes that are oh so important to this case because it's what you guys grasp to.
I wouldn't even want to be a kid in their situation because I know that I wouldn't understand what's going on. So they must be out of their mind not being able to see their mother or see Daniel or just being around the other two grandchildren or Meadow.
One is too much, too much. Here's an example of her overacting. But in a way, kind of glad she is, because it emphasizes the leakage and avoidance, priorities, and the intent to all of this. To defend herself and Daniel of any wrongdoing and whatever happened to Jack and Lily. The priorities are themselves before the children, which has got to be the strongest indicator to investigators right away. And they can't help it. And everything else is just icing on the cake for statement analysis and detective work in that circumstance, in my opinion. Esther, thank you very much, darling. Well, we have to continue on, or I'll feel like a sellout. You can use earplugs, Esther. I appreciate the £5, darling. AB, we beg you, no more Janie. Oh, darling. We're not going to be on Janie forever and ever, but we have to go through the steps. Good to see you, Norbeaster, by the way.
Poor little Meadow. You should see her when Lily and Jack would go up to her. Her eyes would light up and her big smile on her face.
She reminds me of like an insurance scammer. Like somebody that goes and slips and falls in an aisle at the grocery store and wants to turn around and sue everybody. Like she does that for a living type of thing.
Now she can't see them. It must, even though she's small, she must be hurting. She's such a bright she's such a bright little child. She just must be going through torture too.
How far do you want to look into that torture statement? She must be going through torture too. Meadow? Like, you can overanalyze in statements. Don't get me wrong. You can overanalyze some of these statements. So we'll just tuck that away. We'll tuck that away for now. Torture, you say? Looking for those keywords.
How do I know they weren't in the woods? Since such a brief search, I know those kids. I've observed those kids. As I said, I walked with those kids through the woods. I had to carry Jack through the woods.
So this whole scene that she presents with her and time spent in the woods with Jack and Lily, or Jack, you think that you would describe it a little bit differently as having to carry Jack through the woods, because she uses the pronoun as though, or she uses it in the singular as opposed to many times. Like, I had to carry Jack through the woods, as though she's involved somehow in disposing of a corpse or somehow mistreating a corpse in the circumstance after the fact.
He wouldn't go through the woods. He would stand there. He wouldn't go over a branch. He wouldn't go under a branch. I had to carry him over them. So I know they're not in the woods. As I said, I don't even like going through the woods because I don't like walking over trees and branches and bush. Could you imagine a 6 and a 4-year-old going through the woods? You guys seen through videos of what the searchers went through. There's no way that a 6 and a 4-year-old could go through those woods. Believe me. As I said, don't even want to go through the woods. I take the easiest route out. But if those kids are in the woods, they wouldn't have got very far. We searched. Look at all the searchers that were here. They had the dogs in here. They had drones. They had helicopters. A 6 and a 4-year-old are not going to go through that woods. Believe me, they're not. Well, That's a question that's hard for me to answer. The reason why is, if any of you have watched Malaya's video of her when she was a teenager and the way she talked about things is the way she is now. Malaya and I could not sit down and have a conversation.
It's hard to believe. I'm sure it's something she did. So, right away, she probably knew within the first day that she was moving back into that RV. She had to get the hell out of there. So Malaya and Janie, as close proximity as they are at all times, they don't converse in a friendly manner. That must be just torture in of itself. I couldn't imagine. Like, what a shitty place to have to live. Daniel probably feels torn between two individuals all the time. Trying to appease Mummy, of course, so he could maybe someday drive the ATV with her permission. And this new chick of his who he's got knocked up and hooked on the glass dick with some of that shake and bake that he's producing, according to Wade. And being a young mom and the stress of being a young mom like that. And, you know, Janie taking that opportunity to, at every turn, correct her, tell her what it is that she's doing wrong, the right thing to do in the circumstance. All of these ridiculous things, because she's not approaching her as though she's very appreciative of her being there in the first place. It's not a loving home. It's not a loving home whatsoever, and it has a lot to do with Janie's influence around that place. That's the bad energy. Oh, I do too, Charmaine. I believe her when she's talking in a disparaging manner towards Malaya. And Malaya, maybe, and we have to think that she's probably caught up in her addiction or struggling with it, managing it. The problem is that she's in one. You don't have 100 bags of dirty diapers in the basement and not be addicted to something. So there's no running away from that. That's really what's fueled her disassociation away from the children in that sense. In my opinion, of course. You know, it's they do try to make it look as though there was really no other issues in the home and it was just such a fantastic place to live. As you would if the cops were asking you, right? It's like, yeah, no worries. The last person you're going to fucking start admitting any of your problems are is the cops when they ask you. You're like, no, man, everything's fine. That's just a natural human reaction, I would think. Doesn't necessarily mean you're a compulsive liar, but it just so happens that in this case, these people are lying about everything. It just goes with the territory. It's easy for her to sit here and say that, you know, after the fact. It's so easy to say now after the fact to join everybody and align with the people out here is outrage. Well, obviously the kids aren't in the bush. They didn't find them. You know, at what point were you saying that, Janie? Like, Janie can take up all the time in the world and start talking about that because it's easy to talk about for her. But notice what it is that she's not talking about. And that's, you know, there's no sense focusing for a person who's just going through this, focusing on all the areas that weren't. As you know, your focus is where the children are or what could have happened in that sense. And there's never any mention of that. I never thought the kids were in the bush. She's constantly chiseling away and trying to kind of condition you into thinking that, or lessen her role in all of this.
If it was just a brief conversation. When I first met her, when Daniel introduced me to her and the kids, it was okay. My personal opinion of her, I'm not gonna say.
I don't know what you're spamming in my chat, dude.
But
I wonder what the fuck you're talking about.
let me just say, when Meadow was born, when I would go in there to see Meadow, and I would hold Meadow, she would always come and take Meadow from me and say, oh, she has to be fed or she has to be changed.
Don't be misquoting shit that I'm saying up here. Go back and listen for your fucking self. Coming into my chat and pretending to disagree with me on things that I didn't say is a troll tactic. Fucking spammer. How dare you interrupt Janie?
Changed. She would go in the bed.
Nobody said these two fucking idiots did anything in a certain small time frame. They're relying on their story being a 20-minute time frame that the children disappeared. I'm not asserting that. I'm calling that fucking nonsense. So don't turn around and start spamming like you're disagreeing with some misunderstood point that I'm trying to make up here. I'm the one telling you the fucking story.
Room, and she wouldn't come out until I would leave. When
Gaslighting motherfucker.
the grandfather came to see Meadow, she would do the same thing. When it came to Meadow, Meadow was hers. I could go in there and I could play with Jack and Lily all I wanted, but with Meadow, no. Meadow was hers. Since that child has been born, do you want to know how many times I babysat that child? Twice. I looked after her twice. Once when she was outside helping Daniel with the wood because she wanted to get outside. I watched Meadow. The second time I watched Meadow was when Malaya had an episode. I think she was having an anxiety attack. The ambulance was called, and they took her to the hospital. I watched Meadow until Daniel got home.
I wonder what happened there. She had to go to the hospital because of an anxiety attack. That sounds something more rug-related. It's probably what they told her. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to the hospital if you have an anxiety attack. Oh, and people complain about the time waits in the emergency room. Maybe if you were tweaking out and tripping out, oh my god, this is way too good of stuff. I'm so fucking high, dude. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm gonna have to go to. I'm so paranoid. I'm anxious. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. I'm so anxious. God. Heaven's sakes. What do you tell them, guys? Stop what it is that you're doing. Stop that stupid surgery right now. I'm having a panic attack. I'm having a panic attack, you fucking worthless people. Stop what it is that you're doing and pay attention to me. Oh my god. I wonder what really happened. Probably got all fucked up. Probably got all fucked up on mushrooms. Started tripping out or something. Oh, my legs don't work. Oh, just tell Mom we're going. I'm having a panic attack, Mom. Nothing to worry. The ambulance shows up. Oh, boy, yeah, don't worry, Mom. By the way, can I borrow the keys to the ATV? Gonna have to go follow her up to the Emerge. Fuck, she believes anything. Janie will believe whatever you tell her.
Day that I watched Meadow, I got Jack and Lily off the school bus. And I'll never forget the expression on the bus driver's face when I...
Never mind the root, the source of the problem. Don't worry about the root cause of the anxiety and panic attack. It's probably Janie. Probably something Janie did or said got to her. She got shook. I can't stand living around this bitch. Are you sure it wasn't a nervous breakdown? I think they used to call it way back in the day. I don't know, whatever they have to medicate you heavily for, whatever gets you high. I need a couple scripts, Doc. Oh, I need something for my nerves. Maybe they were doctor shopping. Is that their way of doctor shopping? Just calling 911 and going to the hospital with a panic attack and, overacting for them there. Remember when Kramer and his little person friend used to go acting for all of the medical students and they had to guess what they had? They had to diagnose them based off of how they were acting. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, sidetracked, but funny sidetrack.
took Meadow and said, "Here, watch her while I get Jack out of the seatbelt." He looked at me, because I just said, "You have to take Meadow so I can get Jack out of the seatbelt." And I got Jack out of the seatbelt, and I got Lily, and I took the baby from the bus driver, which is Brian Ward. He's a great guy. You've probably seen videos about him on TikTok or
what? How does the bus driver have the baby?
On YouTube. And I took the kids in the...
You've probably seen videos on him. His name's Brian Ward. He threw me. Oh, we talked for hours. Like, that seems so stalkerish. Probably because it's forced. I don't know. Do you believe her? I think she's trying too hard in all the wrong spots here.
House, and Daniel arrived maybe 10 minutes after I got the kids off the bus, and he cooked them supper. Not me. He cooked them supper. And I did up her housework for her while he was feeding Meadow and Jack and Lily. So yes, Daniel did look after those children.
Well, that's quite a jump. You know, I understand what it was you're trying to do there, like by telling us an example of one time that he helped with the kids. But you said it in a way that kind of insinuates that it was all the time. Which one is it? Which one is it? Who spends more time with the kids? You or Daniel? Do you guys believe that? I'm starting to kind of consider this partially true. And I'll tell you why. As potentially partly true. You would think that the passive-aggressive tones and the insincerity probably fooled Malaya early on in all of this, their relationship. And she allows her kids to be around Janie in the first place, not knowing, because Janie just lies to your face at every step of the way, right? She'll fucking yell at you, but she'll tell you, you know, something positive within those angry words, but it comes across in a way that you're not so sure about. Like she does here. So, you know, for a long time during this, maybe Malaya was just kind of complicit or not fully knowing about how much resentment Janie held towards everybody and what she was doing behind Malaya's back, like talking to Daniel behind her back. You could see where it would probably get on Daniel because of the amount of disdain that Janie feels towards Malaya and therefore the kids. So where is her only way to blow off steam? It's going to be to Daniel every single time, comparing her to his other kids. It's going to be a non-stop comparison fest to them, because in this relationship, when you move in with your mom, you're really incorporating another person into your lifestyle that you spend all your time around. Daniel certainly is not going to be considering that, but he certainly won't be considering Malaya's perspective on all of this as well, right? So you can see how it would fester into like this shit show in which we're presuming we're watching. I don't know how you could explain it anywhere else. It's not even necessary to lie about. Like, obviously it would be, we would even call it not ideal of a situation. The scenario isn't ideal for anybody. But it's a little too late for, it's a little too late for it because of Jack and Lily, and nobody's seeming to know where they're at.
I have not tried contacting the chief. The reason why I would have not contacted the chief is she probably won't tell me anything like she did Belinda, because the children are not mine, and I did not say the kids were on the reservation, so why would I contact the chief? Now, there's people said that they are on the reservation, and as I told you, I do not know where Lily and Jack are. So why would I go and call the chief to ask him if they're there when I do not know if they are there or not?
So ask yourself this. There, Joker. Do you ever wonder why it is that she over-explains these meaningless little points? It's like a real circular motion in her language. I think it's probably because she's getting pretty good at it. Like when you do something like that, like when you do it over and over and over again, you get better at it, and your brain can anticipate it quicker. She's a fast talker. Like, she's wanting you, she's convincing your mind, she's fooling your mind into forcing her thought process, or what she wants you to think her thought process is, into your head, as opposed to any context to the conversation. Tell me that's not a tactic. She's like hypnotizing us. This is Janie's one evil woman. She's gonna do it.
If you don't mind, I would like to just stay like this, because I can have a chance to answer your questions, because if all these guys keep throwing questions at me, I'm going to read them, and then I'm just going to get all confused, because I'm going to get...
You should have a 1-900 number. You should like charge like $5.99 a minute to come in and through a touch tone teleprocess, and you could touch one for different messages, and you keep them on the line. You do a little tele business out there in Lansdowne Station. People are so interested in all the things that you have to say.
One question in with another question, and that's...
You could update new messages weekly.
Just going to screw everything up. If you guys don't want any questions asked this way, that's fine. I'll stop talking. I get all the time in the world. It's not like I have a life anymore. God, there can't be that many more questions for you guys to ask me. I told you everything that I know. Like, I mean, do you want me to tell you what color the sky is today? Like, how much more can I answer? Like, how many more questions is there? God, I answered more questions than they did in my interview.
Wow. Jesus. Life is tough, bro. Wow, what a sacrifice. Woo. Shit. Better take a break. Didn't even offer her anything to drink.
I have no idea where to search. The only thing I can say is keep the flyers going. All this place has been searched. It's been turned upside down, inside out. There's nothing more they can do here. Like, they even checked the septic tank. They checked the well. They checked everywhere. They checked under my tray, under the trailer. They had a drone under there. They checked here. They checked everywhere. There's no other place that they could search here. The kids are not here.
Oh, there's my favorite right there.
The only search that you could search is out there in the world.
Oh my God. That is like a gift from the gods. Did you get that? They searched here, they searched there, they searched everywhere. Well, where have we heard that before?
Then I'm just going to get all confused because I'm going to get one question in with another question, and that's just going to screw everything up. If you guys don't want any questions asked this way, that's fine. I'll stop talking. I get all the time in the world. It's not like I have a life anymore.
You think that's her attempt at humor? Who are you saying that to? What? You had a life before? I'm not even trying to take anything away from you, but I mean, what was your life before this like?
God, there can't be that many more questions for you guys to ask me. I told you everything that I know.
Dr. Seuss, yeah.
Like,
Green
I
eggs and
mean...
ham. Yeah, it's very green eggs and ham-ish, isn't it?
Do you want me to tell you what color the sky is today? Like...
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
How much more can I answer? Like, how many more questions is there? God, I answered more questions than they did in my interview. I have no idea where to search. The only thing I can say is keep the flyers going. All this place has been searched. It's been turned upside down, inside out. There's nothing more they can do here. Like, they even checked the septic tank. They checked the well. They checked everywhere. They checked under my tray, under the trailer. They had a drone under there. They checked here. They checked everywhere.
Why is she so eager to have all of these places not researched, or they come back and check, double back round? You know, still the priority is getting past the point of coming back there and searching for anything for her, and go and do it somewhere else, as far away from her as possible. Oh, says the suspect. Oh, shit. At least she's honest, you think? I don't know if she's honest in that one, but I think there's a bit of honesty in that one. She does want people just to F right off. You can't blame her in this circumstance, especially when you're culpable. Oh my God, man. Janie.
There's no other place that they could search here. The kids are not here. The only search that you could search is out there in the world. I felt comfortable answering your guys' questions because nobody was coming to me all at one time. And as I said, I have nothing to hide. I did my interview. I'm free speech now. As I said, I felt comfortable doing my interview.
She's free speech now. Does that mean she thinks that she can go around saying whatever she wants and it's not going to, work against her? Why wouldn't you say anything before when you've got Jack and Lily as, or should be, priority in their whereabouts? Why is there all of this subverted information at any one time? They're always seeming like they're holding back all kinds of information that they're not even going to be bribed over in this circumstance. That's what they're really telling you, meaning Janie. But she does it in a way where it tricks your mind into thinking that she's not as intelligent as you're almost buying into whatever it is that she's talking about in order to, have something to listen to. You've got no choice. But there's a real intent here to deflect any sort of suspicion from her, and there's a need to. It's truly affecting her and her dog because she's guilty as sin. Okay? That's her conscience. That's what would otherwise be known as a human conscience bothering you. You don't like to be reminded of your mistakes. So she comes through and she offers up all sorts of her justifications as to why it was okay to mistreat Malaya and the kids all of this time, because Malaya was dirty, lazy, on drugs, not good enough for Daniel, wasn't an attentive mother. She had to call and remind her all of the time. It's been all about how bad Malaya is. Where is the focus on Jack and Lily? I'm not even trying to sound rhetorical in this, but from the perspective of a person who wants the audience or the listener to believe that she is indeed concerned about the whereabouts of the kids, not near enough time is spent discussing the scenario in a rational way. It's all about what some random stranger said or some talk out there that she needs to straighten out. That's a lot of avoidance, right? But it's a tell as well, isn't it?
Everything I'm telling you is what's on my interview. Only I am showing you what happened and where it happened. That's the only difference of me talking to you guys now. As I said, when I gave my interview, I felt this great relief off of my chest because I actually had someone that was willing to listen to me and not judge me. So, and you guys are not judging me right now. You probably will after I get off here. But I have nothing to hide. I had nothing to hide. I would have come out sooner. But the thing is the investigator said, even told Daniel to stay out of the press, stay off of the YouTube talks, stay off the TikToks, stay off of Facebook.
So here we have, this is an obvious lie. The RCMP did not tell you to be quiet and hush up and not talk to anybody in the situation where there's 2 missing children that just vanished from your property. And they don't want you to speak at all to anybody. Are you sure about that? Are you sure? See, that's an obvious lie. And isn't there any greater scenario than just a blatant, obvious bullshit claim to everybody out there? If there's ever any doubt, she goes that extra mile to just go over the line. Listen, you were fine up to a point, but you just went that little bit too far with that cop. Listen, the cops aren't going to tell you to self-censor in a circumstance like this. There's no need to not talk about it. And you guys still are talking about it. So you're contradicting yourself at that. Stop trying to get people to believe that because it's nonsense.
Because it would hurt their investigation. I am so tired of this investigation shit. I told them this 2 months ago. And yet, we had one report from the RCMP of what they have done. It's been a month since we had an update on anything. So I just got it in my mind, it's time that I spoke out. And I did. No, I'm sorry, I don't have any pictures of Jack and Lily to share with you.
Yeah, she says she's still sitting back in that RV without any handcuffs on, so she thinks it's probably safe to speak and not, have any fear of repercussion from the RCMP at this point in time.
I'm sorry. I don't really have any pictures of my other two grandchildren, and because I got to see them, the only pictures that I even have of that I get pictures of is my other two grandchildren. I don't have any pictures of Jack and Lily. No, I'm sorry. I got to see them every day. Every day. So, no, I'm sorry. Malaya would be...
I wonder if she knows when Jack and Lily's birthday are. Any takers? I bet you she doesn't. I bet you, if you were to ask her, she wouldn't know.
The only one that would have any up-to-date pictures of Jack and Lily. The ones that are on the flyers right now.
Get her all tripped up and triggered with that question.
Have a look. Are actually the up-to-date photos of Jack and Lily, because Jack and Lily just get their hair cut not long before that. So the pictures on the on the flyers are up-to-date pictures. Yes, my RV was searched twice on Friday and Sunday morning. As I said in my interview, I might have said Monday morning, but it was Sunday morning. On Friday, I had search and rescue, checked my trailer. The reason why is this Officer Mason was going to come into my trailer, and I said, there's a dog in there, and she said to me, if you interfere in our investigation, I will have you removed from the premises. That's all I was saying to her, is there was a dog in there. And the reason why I said that is my dog, this is his property. And as I said, if my brothers or my family come and they knock before they come in here. My dog is not a vicious dog, but it is his property. He knows people that come here. He did not know Officer Mason. And the reason why I said there was a dog in there is so she would not open the door and something happened. So after that incident happened, I got search and rescue. I think his name was Rick, to come. Him and 3 searchers came and searched this trailer. And then I heard afterwards that Malaya let people in here to search the trailer. So this trailer was searched twice on Friday. And it was searched again on Sunday morning because Officer Mason came with 3 people, and she asked me to take my dog out of the camper, which I did, and they searched this trailer. And as I said, they even looked in my washer spinner. So yes, this trailer RV was searched. And as I said about the cupboard, I have no cupboards in my trailer because I renovated it. And if they searched my trailer, if I did have a cupboard in here, they would have searched it. So there is no drugs, there is no guns, there is no sex toys of any kind in any cupboard. So, does that answer your question for the second time?
Uh-oh. No sex toys. Who would even dare bring such a disgusting thing up with this woman?
Here, be nice in the chat, or I end this conversation right now. The lady that was asking me questions, I wish she continue answering me questions. If not, I am done. When she is done asking me questions, you guys can comment all you want. I have nothing to hide.
What? She's got nothing to hide. You guys can comment whatever you want afterwards. That doesn't even make sense. Well, in an opposite sort of way, it does. They were talking about that in chat, Lori Green. It's ridiculous.
Lost everything in my life. So, after I'm done with talking and telling my side of the story, the truth, if you want to comment and say whatever you want, believe me, I do not care. I am telling you guys, if you don't believe me, that's your problem or your opinion. If you want to give a comment, I am all done with this once I've talked to you guys.
Isn't it interesting how she just wants to be finished and free of certain things? Like, what is it she really expressing with that? She doesn't want to be in this situation again because there's never going to be any need for it. She's really sure that, she can now get on with her life. This whole Jack and Lily situation has moved past. She's not, don't come down hard on her because she's not their mother or grandmother in that circumstance. She only likes to pretend. That's what she says.
No, I thought everything was going well with Daniel and Malaya. I have never seen them fight. I've never really seen them arguing. When I was in there, I'm not sure about what happens when I'm not there. As I told the reporters, and I'm telling you guys, I live in the RV, they live in the trailer. I let them have their personal space, they let me have my personal space. The only difference I seen in Malaya that day of the disappearance is when I saw her outside and she was standing there holding Meadow, and I had to ask her what was up, and she told me that Jack and Lily were missing, and I asked her how long. That's the only behavior difference that I've seen in Malaya, except for this time that the altercation happened at the end of the driveway, which I have no knowledge about. I didn't listen to what I just went up to her and said, please don't tell, she was crying, I said, please don't tell me that Jack and Lily are dead. And then, as I said, Haley and her friend, I think it was Shelby, I can't be 100% sure, started saying stuff. I wasn't in the mood to listen to arguments. I didn't want to fight because whatever was going on had nothing to do with Jack and Lily. That's when I ordered them off the property. The police came. I gave my statement of what I've done.
Janie's clearly not representing the situation as it happened. She's not being honest in the circumstance. And she's dismissing it as having nothing to do with Jack and Lily when indeed it does, because the whole reason you snapped on that driveway, Janie, is because the girls were accusing Daniel of, one, being high on that shake and bake he makes, and two, doing something to bring harm to Jack and Lily. Because by the time they saw him, he just didn't get high. He's been high for a while. He looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Other than that, that's the only difference that I've seen in Malaya's, whatever you call it, the personality or whatever she changes. Sorry, in Malaya was that day.
What the hell was she trying to say there?
Now, this is me, myself. If my children were missing in the woods, or if somebody has taken them, I would be so hysterical. I would be running around, screaming and hollering, looking everywhere, crying, just like a normal person would be, that a mother You can't tell me that you carry a child for 9 months and something happens to them, that you're not going to get hysterical and you're not going to be crying and screaming and everything. Well, tell me. I would be. And another thing, I'm going to tell you something now. If something happened to my children, my boys, I would be so hysterical, even though they're 34 and 33. I would still be hysterical if something happened to them. Even though they're growing up. Mama will always be a part of their lives, no matter how old they are. And Mama feels for those kids. I don't care if I'm 85 years old and my kid is 60-some years old. I am still going to worry about my children. And I am still going to cry for my children. So you just look at what I've seen and what you've seen on the tape of Malaya's interview. Does that look like a woman that misses her children? Please answer me that. If there's no more questions, I've pretty well...
Do you see what she did there? She didn't even ask a question, but phrased it in the form of a question. It made absolutely no sense. Absolutely zero sense. And she does that all of the time. You're going on about making a point, word salading it up, but in your closing, it just like it glitches. There's a glitch there. There's no continuity. It's like a disconnect of sense. Answer me that. Answer me that. See, I can cry too.
I answered everything that I could answer on my part. As I said, I'm not answering questions about
Look at all I'm doing
Malaya, about Daniel.
Yes, I'm not going to turn this into a hate Malaya parade now. You know, after saying all of this, and now you don't want to go around even acknowledging anything that you guys were saying about her by saying that this isn't a hate Malaya. I'm not here to hate on Malaya, says Daniel. In Mike's live chat. I noticed the other day.
It's all about Jack and Lily. I told you what I've known and what I've seen. I hope it helps you guys, it ease your guys' minds. And I thank you guys for letting me talk to you and for not judging me for when I'm talking to you. And thank you to whoever was answering.
Why do you think she's so hung up on this judging? She on one hand, she doesn't care about what anybody thinks. Everybody's got to stop with the rumors and speculation because it's affecting her and her dog. She doesn't care what anybody thinks. It's a constant contradiction. How could you even take this as a serious alibi? Like, what do you have to do to look suspicious in a situation like this? Like, it's non-stop inconsistencies, and it has been since day one. From a person, no matter what inside, it would be a reason to ask further questions. But again, you have to know where you're going with it. And that shouldn't be very difficult at this point in time because it's truly not a mystery.
Answering the questions. I appreciate you volunteering to do that. and making it easy for me to answer questions. And I hope you keep praying for Jack and Lily. And I hope they come home soon. And when I go on again, if there's some questions that you guys have not answered and I see them, I will answer your questions. So thank you for taking the time and listening to me babble and get it out there. And thank you for letting me cry on your shoulders. I appreciate it. And thank you, Ken. You'll know what it's about. I appreciate that.
Why the fuck is she crying now?
So I'm going to take off now. I may be on a little later. I may not.
Take off, hoser.
But thank you very much, guys.
Okay, first off, they're Belinda Carlisle, Elizabeth Taylor. How long does your goodbyes have to be? So long. Sayonara. Goodbye. Au revoir. Like, how many different ways do you need to say goodbye there? Bye-bye for now. Gracias.
Oh, there's just one last thing I'd like to say. I don't know how many...
After all of that.
people are you...
She comes back and has one further thing. Do you think it's just going to be one? Do you think it's going to just be one thing?
From Nova Scotia or Pictou County or whatever. I would just like to say this, and this is my opinion, but to Robert Parker and Tim Houston, you took the time to go over to the RCMP station and talk to them, but you didn't take the time to come here and see how we were doing. And you're all about the community, and you're all about the people. Well, we were two people that needed you, and you were not around. And I don't think that was right, because you're there for everyone, not just
even the
people
convicts
that you're favored to. So,
voters,
if you
taxpayers.
hear this, or if you go into this chat, or whoever knows them, please let them know that I do not like what they have done. Hi, I'm sorry. I just seen a comment there. I didn't see Malaya put the kids in the car. That's one thing I didn't see. And Cheryl is Malaya's best friend. She's the one that was on the beach with Malaya. I apologize. I thought the picture of Justin and Daniel on the bike was taken by a drone, but if Cheryl says it was taken by Malaya, she's probably right. I wasn't around when the picture was taken. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was her friend that asked about the picture. There's so many names, like when I seen Cheryl and she said about the picture, I took it was Malaya's friend. I'm sorry. As I said, that's all I know. Oh, sorry. Yes. But I didn't know who took the picture. There was so many drones around here. I thought it was the guy that took the picture of the property that took that picture. That's all I know. I didn't know if it was Malaya or who took the picture. I can't be sure. I thought it was a drone. Look, there was so many people here that day. I don't know half of the people. I don't know most of the people that were here. I only know the people that were here from the community, and some of friends that I know were here. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was away most of the day with Justin on the four-wheeler.
There we go.
Him and I took off, and we just went.
Where did you go? Here we go. Here's Mike Demand's pipeline theory.
Look, there was so many people here that day. I don't know half of the people. I don't know most of the people that were here. I only know the people that were here from the community, and some of the friends that I know were here. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was away most of the day with Justin on the four-wheeler. Him and I took off and we just went. So I couldn't tell you who was here, to be exact. If I ran into somebody I knew, I'd talk to them. If I didn't know, I said hi. So like I said, Malaya called me on my phone, and I called her back, and she told me to get back here as soon as I could. I don't know what was discussed between her and everybody else. I just know when I got back here, I went up and she was crying, I put my arms around her, and then Haley, and I think it was Shelby, I said, I'm not sure, started accusations. I wasn't listening because I was so upset because I thought that she was calling me back to tell me that the kids were deceased. I said dead in my statement to the cops, but I'm sorry, I mean deceased. And then the next thing I know, all these cops, I think there was 5 cops showed up, and they took Malaya aside. Actually, Officer Mason took Malaya aside and talked to her. The other 2 people, I ordered them off the property, and an officer took me aside and got my statement. And after that, I left and went and talked to Daniel to see if he was okay, because apparently if you listen to Logan's TikTok or interviews on TikTok, she can explain more to you than what I know. So I know Daniel was upset, and I went to see him. That's when I left everything, and everybody took off. I didn't know where anybody was going or what was going on in the whole kerfuffle or whatever you call it. So I went and talked to my boy to see if he was okay. After that, everybody just left. So I don't know what went on. See, the way I thought is anything else that happened here that day was not important to me. I want to stress that wasn't important to me. The only thing that I was thinking about that day was finding Jack and Lily. And I spent all day, except for when I came here and had a little bite to eat because my daughter-in-law brought some food, and I had a sandwich, and then she took the rest of the food into the trailer, and the ones that were in there, all her family, ate all the food. Anything that anybody brought, they took it to the trailer, and they ate it all. We didn't get anything. We had to defend for ourselves. As I said, it was like a family reunion. They were in there talking and laughing and going on. So, and the only time that I went into the trailer is that time when I see them all laughing and carrying on, was to tell Malaya that Justin and I were going back out to look for the kids. And she said, do you want me to shut the chickens in? That's the only time that I set foot in that trailer all day. Except for when everybody left and the police officers came.
So she's saying she was out all day avoiding the cops, over with Daniel talking to her boy at the pipeline. Being their go-between. You got a remote camp operating out there.
And asked Daniel about the pink blanket. I was there when they went out to the garbage can and took the pink blanket out of the garbage. Other than that, after that was over, Nobody else was around. Everybody left. And I just sat in the trailer, and some of my friends came and asked me how I was doing, and they were very supportive of me. And God love one of the girls that was there, one of the friends that was there. I had a tick bite on me, and it was starting to get. This was on Saturday. I had a tick bite on me. God love her. She went to the pharmacist and got me pills because I wouldn't leave the property. I never left the property all the time those kids were missing.
Wow. Nearly averted death there. That's how much she sacrificed that particular day. I'll give you a second to catch up. I'll give you a second to catch your breath. I'm sure your jaws are on your keyboards right now. Whoa. Janie, those aren't ticks. Those are bed bugs.
And after this search, I still don't leave the property. I may go to town maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. I stay here and tell reporters to get off my property because I don't want to talk to them. And I'm a homebody. I'm like a hermit. I don't go anywhere. And I was that way before this all started.
It's interesting when she slips these in. You actively shoo any sort of media attention away. Turn all of the reporters away because, of course, you wouldn't want to talk about Jack and Lily in this situation, would you? Because you're innocent, obviously. And why would an innocent person want to talk in front of the camera, especially with such interest around this case, international interest? Because she's a hermit. As she gets off the phone with the CBC requesting an interview.
Before the disappearance of Jack and Lily started, and I'm still a hermit.
Before the disappearance of Jack and Lily started. Before the disappearance of Jack and Lily started. As though it's a production. She speaks about it as though it's just like an off-Broadway production. In that sense, doesn't she? Right there she does. There's some leakage.
On my interview, and I'll tell you now, on my interview about the sliding door, the lady that did the interview, her name is Allie, very nice lady. She was the one that opened the door.
This is why she seems so bizarre.
So
because she really, to her, it's like being in a movie, and she's treating this like being some sort of famous actress, and she's turning away all of this attention because it's just not her style, and she can't wait to tell you it. It's such a bizarre scenario. Very, very deceptive. Lori Lynn, I bet they never expected this much attention. Well, I don't know.
Everybody wouldn't think that I was doing something to disrupt this investigation, or people saying, oh, she opened it up lightly, or she did this, or she did that. I got Allie to open the door twice. So, she was the one that opened up the door.
Oh, and I also in my interview told them that if they want to come take up my driveway, or if they want to come lift my trailer, or lift the RV.
It's probably some of those dog treats she was bribed with from the reporter she's eating there.
Or anything they wanted to do. They were more than welcome to come and do it. I have nothing to hide. The kids are not here on this property. But they did put a drone underneath underneath the trailer. They had
again, priorities, friends.
An army guy come in with this great big drone that they use, and they put it underneath the trailer. And I offered to go underneath the trailer with a flashlight to show them that Jack and Lily weren't under there, and they said no, that they could get under there with the drone. And I'm not here for you guys to feel sorry.
And she's belching. You've got, like, horrible manners, Janie. That's disturbing. Think about... So, first of all, let's just sit back. It's kind of comedy, but then again... Think about the type of person she is to sit there and do that. To sit there in the middle of all of this, to satisfy her appetite. This psychopath. Satisfy this appetite, talk with their mouth full, slap her lips together, and then belch, all while she's trying to talk about Jack and Lily and the circumstance. So she's lacking some self-awareness, manners, etiquette, and completely lying by omission, fabricating, volunteering new information. To her, yeah, sure, it's being transparent. It doesn't necessarily mean it's accurate. She knows what she's doing because she's purposefully, at any one point in time, at the end of these sequences of going in circles and obfuscating, she permanently, at the end of her statements, she purposefully deflects away into some other random word and leaves you hanging and never finishes the key elements of the sentence and the structure to finish off the statement to even qualify as a statement. That tells you that she's being extremely deceptive. And there's a sensitivity area there as well. And she's leading you to the door, right? And just blink, out of sight. But she loves to talk all about whatever and keep going and not stop to reflect on anything that she's just recalled, gone into any great detail about anything that she's said. She's done a bullet style 20 questions just to deny the entire thing as though this was some sort of intervention for her alcoholism or something. Like, the denial's thick in all of this, even the fact that anything's even suspicious about the circumstance. The priorities are her innocence and Daniel's innocence over the welfare of Jack and Lily at any one point in time. And that the priority to her, even though it's fabricated, we don't believe it, to her in the moment, it's to stop all the rumors and speculation. The cops advised them not to speak in this circumstance. No, friends, they didn't just rewrite the law. They didn't rewrite what would otherwise be normal behavior. It's not okay in this circumstance. And ignorance is not an excuse. And it speaks loads to their culpability in this situation, no matter what.
Sorry for me. I'm just here to tell the truth. You guys have your own opinion of me. I have nothing to say about that. I'm just here to tell the truth. I want Lily and Jack found, and that's all I want.
Can I clear something up about the four-wheeler? Justin and I were the ones driving on the four-wheeler, but we picked Daniel up around the pipeline. Justin and I went up around the pipeline, and we were going through an old road, and we seen Daniel, and Daniel got on the bike, and he sat on front of the bike until...
Oh, I'm going to rewind this one. This is part of the pipeline theory over at Mike Demands. I got to say thank you very much to Joyous N for the $10 super chat. She says, if you look at the photo you have up, there is no room for the swing. Janie said they were on that swing, of course, yes. The wood pile is there. Absolutely. Right. You know, no mention of that. That's the drone shot of that particular day. There's no way that the kids were out there swinging away, having fun on the freshly prepared swings that are supposed to be there and looped up out of the way. Don't want those dogs smelling the seats at all.
This investigation, or people saying, oh, she opened it up lightly, or she did this, or she did that. I got Allie to open the door twice. So, she was the one that opened up the door.
Oh, and I also in my interview told them that if they want to come take up my driveway,
oh my God,
or if they want to come lift my trailer, or lift the RV, or anything they wanted to do, they were more than welcome to come and do it. I have nothing to hide. The kids are not here on this property.
Including your poor eating habits.
But they did put a drone underneath underneath the trailer. They had an army guy come in with this great big drone.
Once you finish slopping that down. So she's going to start talking about this little scenario about her locale that particular day and her being out. Where exactly did Janie go? And what was so important about that pipeline? Especially to them, especially to the people who last saw Jack and Lily. In my opinion, it had a lot more to do with evidence and cover up of their evidence from whatever happened between the hours of 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. on May 1st, or May 2nd, excuse me, May 1st into May 2nd. That was the point in bringing all of those people out in the first place. You want to confuse the situation. You want to create distractions and diversions all over the place under the guise of you unrealistically looking in areas around there that you've got no business looking, or if you're properly prioritizing a search for two kids that were just in your sight moments ago. Should your bullshit story to the RCMP in the first place have been true, and it's not.
That they use, and they put it underneath the trailer. And I offered to go underneath the trailer with a flashlight to show them that Jack and Lily weren't under there, and they said no, that they could get under there with the drone. And I'm not here for you guys to feel sorry for me. I'm just here to tell the truth. You guys have your own opinion of me. I have nothing to say about that.
Don't feel sorry for me, y'all. I'll be fine. I'll be able to get over this, no problem.
I'm just here to tell the truth. I want Lily and Jack found, and that's all I want.
That's your new motto.
Can I clear something up about the four-wheeler? Justin and I were the ones driving on the four-wheeler, but we picked Daniel up around the pipeline. Justin and I went up around the pipeline, and we were going through an old road, and we seen Daniel, and Daniel got on the bike, and he sat on front of the bike until we got back to the pipeline, and we dropped him off with some of his friends, and then Justin and I took off back home.
What was so interesting at the pipeline, I wonder? What required, and why would you spent so much time.
So Daniel was on the bike, sitting on the front of the bike. So there was me, Justin, and Daniel on the bike. He was sitting on the front of it. But Justin and I had the bike out all day.
There's the beginning.
I'm fine. I just went through your comments to see if there's any questions you had to ask, and I just wanted to clear that up. I just want to say, Daniel has done so many interviews, and to tell you the truth, if I was in his place, I'd be so confused because people have been asking him so many questions, and it's just, I don't know how anybody that has been interviewed keep everything straight. Like, I think a little things get twisted and everything, but you got to understand.
She's trying to give Daniel credit for sticking to the script. It's amazing to me how little people have twisted the script, but it's amazing to me, and Daniel's done so many interviews and he hasn't made one mistake. What a good boy he is. It's amazing to me.
We're all under a lot of pressure here. All this was put on us, or especially on Daniel, because Malaya's not opening her mouth.
All of this, so that says a lot in my opinion. All of this was put on them. They have no responsibility. All of what exactly? And isn't that contrary to your claims of being caring, good Samaritans and all of this, who are going to search for the rest of your life endlessly, aimlessly? No matter what, you're the last people to see these children alive, and you were in a position of control and care over them, and we're supposed to do everything in your power to protect them. You guys don't even feel bad about it. In fact, you just blame Malaya for all of it because she wasn't, in your eyes, living up or doing or paying any sort of attention to the kids to begin with. You had to go out of your busy day. You had to, change your day in order to take care of her kids, and you held that over her all the time. You and Daniel both agree on it and think it's a point and a contributing factor to why the Children's Aid were knocking at your door. When in fact, reality isn't like that, because you're members of the household as well, and you're supposed to be. And I'm sure Daniel promised it. This was supposed to be her happily ever after. Now it went to happily ever after with Janie. How the hell is that going to be possible? How the hell is that going to be possible?
And Daniel's taking all the backlash for this. So if it was Malaya Malaya opened her mouth, just how much backlash she would get. So you got to cut Daniel a little slack here, guys. He did not use the ATV all the time of the search. It was me and Justin. And as I said, we picked Daniel up on an old road. We went up the pipeline, Justin and I did, and we picked Daniel up on an old road. So Daniel did not use the bike. The only time he was on the bike is when we picked him up on the road. And believe me, it's my four-wheeler, and believe me, I don't let Daniel drive my four-wheeler, believe me. And yes, he is telling the truth. The bike did have a wiring problem because the mice get into it and chewed all the wiring off of it. So that's why it wasn't used neither until it got fixed. I've been looking at the comments, and if you guys have anything wrong, don't get mad at me, but I will correct you guys. If you go back at the screenshots that Malaya sent Belinda, you will find the time of when Malaya told Belinda what time she called the 911. It's all in her messages to Belinda. No, Daniel did not drive the ATV. I told you it was Justin and I that were out on the bike all day. We picked Daniel up on the pipeline on an old road. We went up, Justin and I went up the pipeline and we went off on an old road and we found Daniel there. We picked Daniel up. Daniel was sitting on the front of the bike, so there was Justin, me, and Daniel on the bike, and we drove Daniel back to his friends that were on the pipeline, and Justin and I came back home. Well, if you know what a four-wheeler is, it's only big enough for two people. Justin was driving, I was sitting on the back, so we made Daniel sit on the front because there was no room for him to sit on the back with me. Okay, no problem. I'm sorry, people, but I do not accept friends' requests, so please don't send them to me. Is there anything else you want me to clear up? Because I'm going to bed soon. So, if you got any questions, ask them now. Okay, I already answered this question. My brother called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town. I said no, I was going back to bed. So I laid back down. I was playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I'm not sure what exactly time. I didn't look at the clock. My dog woke me up. I heard the kids outside. And then I dozed back off again. And the next thing you know, I heard Daniel hollering Jack and Lily's name. Then about maybe 5-10 minutes after I heard him, I'm not sure exact what time because I didn't look at the clock. And when I opened the door, Malaya was standing there in front of the RV, and I said, "What's up?" And she said, "The kids are missing. The kids, Lily and Jack, are gone." And I said, "How long?" She said, "About 20 minutes. I don't know what time I seen Malaya outside because I didn't look at the clock. I came in, I grabbed my boots, and headed up to the woods. So I gave you guys a timeline. 8:48 is when he called me. I dozed off. I don't know exactly what time I heard the kids. And according to what, if I read it correctly in the chat between Belinda and Malaya, she said that.
It's interesting right there. She states these certain things in sequence and ends with, "I don't know what time I heard the kids." Like she prioritized that last. So she said that she got the call at 8:48. Then she remembered another point in time and then said, "I don't remember what time I heard the kids." Surely you would be able to, at that point of being cognizant, recall if you heard the kids before 8:48 or after that 8:48. And the hesitancy and the avoidance is a red flag. Just being deceptive, right? A mass understatement in this scenario.
She called the 911 at about 9:40. So that's what I believe it says. You'd have to check out the conversation between Malaya and Belinda. I'm talking about the discussion between Malaya and Belinda, not the discussion between Malaya and Cindy. Malaya was supposed to tell Belinda, according to her screenshot, that she called 911 at 9:40. The one about between Malaya and Cindy? Is that the one you want me to look at? Okay, there's something I want to ask you guys about the message that you're putting up on the screen about where it says Cindy Murray. Did you notice that the person in blue, there's no little person beside the message that were sent? Usually when you message someone, the picture of the person comes up at the bottom of the blue. Malaya has the same phone as me, and whenever I message somebody, my little picture comes up at the bottom of the message, So you see where the blue is lit up? How come there's no little person on the bottom of the messages? Yes, we do have Wi-Fi calling here. And when I call on or message on my phone, if I send a message to somebody, my little picture shows up on the bottom of my message. And then when somebody messages me back, their little pictures show up on my messages. So there is no little people on the bottom of those messages. So you don't know who sent them those messages. As I said, Malaya and I have the same phone. Okay, who on here has, what is it, are you saying a phone? What kind of a phone they say they don't show up on here right now? There's too many things coming up here. I'm trying to read here. An Adro, at least not, okay, on an Adro phone, that's what I have. And I see everybody coming up here. It doesn't matter what kind of phone anybody has on this screen. I see everybody coming up and who's typing what.
I don't know what you mean, Daphne, by other voice messages, but welcome in. I'm not sure what you mean. There's still like an hour and a half left of these ones. So they're most likely on here. I got this clip from another person in the background. They sent it to me. They claim for it to be its totality thus far. So I'm not sure what's exactly all on it. I'm into no man's land. Like, I have heard them in clips before, but not all in sequence like we do here. You really get to get into the way that she's, her perceived mindset anyway. The fact that she has the need to deceive in this situation really should tell us everything that we really need to know.
What? Yes, when I message somebody, my screen shows up blue when I am talking or messaging someone. But when I'm done messaging, my little picture comes up on the bottom of what I messaged. And here's another thing that's weird. How come she messaged her mother at whatever time it says? Let me go back here.
Actually, do you know what's weird there, honey? I'll tell you what's weird is the fact that you're spending so much time pointing out things that you feel are suspicious that are meaningless, only to shed more light and hate on Malaya in this circumstance with Jack and Lily missing. These aren't legitimate points that people are going to say, what's up with this? No, it's just you throwing shade. It's you talking about her in a derogatory manner, trying to garner sympathy and generate some propaganda against Malaya in the same go.
She messaged her mother at 11:33. If my kids were missing, don't you think I would have called my mother before that? Yes, when a message is read by someone that you are messaging to, if they read it, their little bubble comes up.
See, what she's really doing is blaming every time that there's a discrepancy within her timeline or there's a contradiction or a conflict of interest, especially with time frames and what they're stating. They keep coming back and putting it on Malaya how this is so suspicious because it's one thing that contradicts the entire timeline. Because a conversation with Cindy about having to go before, would conflict with the times that you gave police. That's the only reason that you focus on it in the circumstance. You're trying to put a different meaning to it, but it's never going to be a different meaning. You can't put anything rational to it. It's not in your repertoire. You're trying to, but just simply talking around it and talking about it without even finishing your point and jumping on to the next one is like some next level carny shit.
On the bottom of what they wrote. Or I should say their picture. So that's how you know somebody has read your message. And as I said, it's says on there 11. Sorry, I have to keep going back. It says that she missed a call at 11:33. Okay? Why would she wait so long if the kids were missing and she made a 911 call to about the kids? Why did she take so long to call her mother? Well, all that I can tell you is Malaya has the same phone as me, and it doesn't matter.
She wants you to think the question is, why did she wait so long to call her mother? What? Wow. That is some really desperate deflection. That's some really desperate attempts to really muddy the waters. That's the definition of water muddying, I guess. That's so freaking funny, but it's not funny.
No matter what phone I chat on to somebody, the little thing always comes up after on my message when somebody looks at it.
This is her reverting to baby talk. It's like this thing that she does. You guys are right. I don't remember which one of you were mentioning it in my chat, but you're right. This baby talk, like as if you're, how you mimic a baby voice when you see a little baby. Okay, do. You start to talk a little different. Well, she does that.
Is all I can tell you. And here's another thing too. I called my brother at 10:19.
Here's another thing.
To tell him that the kids were missing. And Malaya waited till the time she called her mother to tell her the kids were missing. And I got on the phone and started calling my brother right away. And by the way, on my interview, the cameraman took.
Now I do really want to know why during this situation with her being out, she ignored a call from Malaya, admittedly, for 2.5 hours in a situation like this. And Mike's got that weaved into his pipeline theory. But the question is so relevant to this investigation and to her story. I mean, why would you ignore Malaya's call? What were you doing out at the pipeline with Daniel that required your attention, especially when I mean, I guess it's always possible that somebody leaves their ringer off and doesn't get it until, afterwards. There are those situations, but we're talking about in a situation where Jack and Lily have gone missing. The question's still relevant. It's still worth focusing on in that regards, right? It's a legit question, in other words, that haven't been presented to us. It's been revealed to us through their statements and through their language, but not really delved into. So Mike's right on the money. Now we're here, right? I mean, speaking in a psychological sense, in a statement sense, we've gotten to this point. They've done so much talking and so much explaining. At some point, you think that there's going to be a next series of questions that really stick after a little bit times. Like some will stick to the wall more than others at this point in time that they're going to have to answer. We need this time to go by in order for that to happen, for the investigation, for the detectives to recognize. They already recognize. . I mean, in my mind, there you would already be lining them up for a no-body prosecution in this circumstance because the inconsistencies are just too blatant. But it might take a lot longer than we would like to imagine it should. And who's to really put a time to all of this? And this is the unfortunate thing. You know, every scenario is a little bit different and a situation is a little bit different. Think about the difficulty dealing with people who are lying to you nonstop. Everybody, no matter what, you still have to go through the motion of wasting a certain amount of resources to allot to, ruling things out in a situation like this. And this is what they've been presented nonstop. But there's also a story that develops alongside that with how things go. There's a, you don't exactly know how this is go, whether you're a suspect or whether you're the investigator. It's day by day until a lot more time passes. And I don't think that they need much more time. I think that they need something specific. And that something is right around all of their sensitivities that we pick up in their statements or through their statements. In not so many words, they've really told on themselves. It's not necessary to retrieve the bodies. But through the crown's eyes, he needs to be satisfied he's going to get a murder one in all of this. There's so much to choose from throughout all of this little mystery. In my mind. But these are only leads to bring you to the next step. We know they're guilty AF of something. We still need to figure out what that something is. They know we know.
Pictures of my phone and my name on my phone to prove it's my phone, and he even took a screenshot of when Malaya called me when I was on the pipeline and told me to come back here. Well,
thanks for handing
why send a screenshot to you guys or to this chat showing when she made the phone call to Malaya? Shouldn't it be when Malaya made the phone call when the kids went missing? Okay, here's another thing. If I got a phone call from someone, from my daughter saying my kids were missing, wouldn't you leave right away to come over to see your daughter and be there for her when she needed her? Not like an hour and 33 minutes said that she was leaving then. Nothing happened the night before. I already told you. I heard the kids here Friday morning. Nothing happened to those kids Thursday night.
What does hearing them Friday morning have to do with Thursday night? What's she really saying to us there? What does hearing the kids in the morning have to do with going what went on there around the house the particular night? Obviously they did something. That's a sensitivity right there, would you say? Ooh, she's a bit sensitive about that one. Ooh. The answer is nothing, really, because the question had more to do with really what did the kids do the night before, and she wants you to say absolutely nothing. There's nothing happened the night before here. I heard the kids Friday morning, and that's your answer to that. It's like she doesn't want to go off script, isn't it?
Friday morning I heard them. I just love it when I put on a message here and then I see all these little people just lining up to hear what I have to say. I'm sorry, I can't answer your question, Vanessa, because I do not know where the kids are, so I can't answer it. As I said, I don't know where the kids are. Believe me, if I knew, you don't think that I would let the investigators of the RCMP know where they are? Believe me, I wished I did know where they were. I would, if they were close, I would go get them myself. I wouldn't care what anybody said or what anybody done. I would go get them myself, but I do not know where the kids are. I am sorry. I hope this nightmare comes to an end soon, because
sometimes just a simple no is a lot better than going on. I mean, that's over-explaining. Is it extenuous information, or is there leakage in amongst that? You have to really digest it and, rest a couple days and then come back to them sometimes, unfortunately, with Janie, because it's so rich with deception. In other words, there's almost, man, I don't want to over-exaggerate it. It's rich with deceptive language and red flags, indicators. Hell, it's almost a no-brainer. You don't even need to analyze any statements. She says she's so contradictory. Both things can't be true in most circumstances with her claims. Holy. Do you know what's really funny about all of this, though, at this point in time, you go through this experience with how frustrating it is listening to all of these lies? That's only going to work so much. Like, these folks don't like to deviate from any of their script. So the longer time goes on, the louder they're going to yell this exact same thing. And eventually everybody's going to know and recognize that Daniel contradicted Janie's statements right on the CBC. Both stories can't be true. Not like it's the only smoking gun, but obviously there's a real problem with these people's stories. At what point do you take things, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, to the next level, meaning cuff them? Somebody's going to talk. You need to have more information, and that requires true investigative work and some time. The good news is that there's so many lies here, it probably shouldn't be too difficult to take any one number and go from there. There's just not one way to skin this cat. It's so rich in deception from the perspective of the cops as well, but they still have to preferably find out a lot more truth than they want the cops to know. Now, how much work they put into that, I don't know. But you know that that's how it goes, and that's how it should go. The good news is that they're not, they know where to look. They know where they're looking. I mean, I couldn't imagine anything except that. All while having to treat Jack and Lily as, human beings. They have to deal with it as though it's a missing child case in a circumstance like this. So really, in one angle, nothing has changed. In another way, you all know there's a parallel investigation going on to whatever they call things or label things in the media and want you to base your opinions off of. But usually questions are based around the structure of the law. And we're not entitled to any more information. And the fact that these fools are out here trying to tell you that the cops are telling them not to talk, doesn't that tell you a little something about how much information that they have really shared, what they're really protecting? They've got a story to protect, and they don't want to deviate from it. They're not going to share. When they do that, you're just telling people you aren't on the level. You have a lot more information, or the information that you've communicated is not accurate. And when you're dealing with liars, don't give up on the police in this circumstance. It takes extra time, regardless of what detectives say, especially if they're a little slow reading, right? You just have to do that much more. That the good news is you know that they're lying for a reason, right? So it's worth the extra work, isn't it? It justifies itself. It's not like you're going to crumple up the file and throw it in the back of the cabinet and go on holidays. Well, right away.
If not, I'm going.
This is why it's worth it, okay? This is why it's worth it to Daniel and his crew out there to call in potential false clips, to submit anonymous clips, to throw out disinformation and propaganda a certain way. Because it creates and wastes the resources of the RCMP. Because as you can see, they follow up on every cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that calls in there and is concerned about something, which is kind of their job. Now, I'm sure that they put you through the smell test, but when it comes to this, it's a little different, right?
I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. Believe me. And
okay, we're going to have a nervous breakdown. We're going to have a nervous breakdown, Janie. We're going to leave it there for part 3 here. If you haven't, part 2 and part 1 are out there. Part 4 will be coming tomorrow. We're getting on 3 hours. I don't like to make these too long because it'd just be too long. But I appreciate you all for stopping by tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, to pick up the next 28 minutes of Janie. Friends, make sure you go over and check out Mike Demand. Don't forget about Ninchi. Send some love and some positivity in her comments. And stay hopeful. But don't get married to the hope. Stay frustrated, stay aggravated, but with determination and with direction. And you get that direction through things like statement analysis. Because after all, it's fact that these words did come out of their mouths, and that's best place to start when you don't know anything. Regardless of the fact that you're getting bullshitted or not. It just adds a little bit more spice to the dish. So we'll see you tomorrow, my friends. Peace in the Middle East.